Welcome to an Insider Special Report. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. And we want to wish you a happy 4th of July. Of course, thank all you veterans out there for your service. I mean, without you, obviously, we would not be able to enjoy these freedoms to get to talk about sports, you know, for a living. You actually get paid to do this. This is amazing. But I thought this would be a great opportunity to look back at some of our favorite All-Americans, Red Raider All-Americans. Now, there's no criteria here. Just if they made an All-American list, if they were an All-American in their time as Red Raiders, then and you liked them and you enjoyed watching them play, or even just hearing old timers talk about older guys, then great. Just anybody you want to mention here, Mighty Joe.
Yeah, I got a couple, both of them football.
Let's take turns. You go
okay,
first.
Okay. First one I got is Ted Watts.
Okay, yeah.
Who was defensive back at Tech. He was basically a safety. Okay, and he was an All-American in 1980. And there's a lot of things that you can say about this guy. First off, he's the hardest hitter I ever saw play at Tech until Slay came along. I mean, this guy would seriously shock some people. He really would. And he was about 6 foot 190. He's from Tarpon Springs, Florida. I think he may have been a
What era was this? What year about he?
It was late 70s, early 80s.
Pretty big DB there for
yeah,
late 70s.
That's right. That's right. And he was a number 21 pick in the NFL draft.
Wow.
By the Oakland Raiders.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's right. He was number 21. He wore number 21. He went from the Raiders to the Raiders. So he had a lot of juju going on there. Yeah, I mean, he would smoke some people. And also the fastest closing speed I've ever seen for any defensive back ever to play for Tech. I mean,
that sounds like exactly what they need right now.
Exactly. You betcha. Oh, they take him. Even right now, he's probably 54, 55 years. They could probably get out there and help him a little bit. But he was something else, and So the problem was once he got to the NFL, they made the mistake of moving him to cornerback. He wasn't a natural corner. He was a natural safety, but they insisted on doing the square peg round hole thing, and he was okay in the NFL, but not as good as expected.
Right. All right, I'm going to go old school too. I think most of these lists, you got to start with, for me, is a guy that I heard so much from, especially my dad talked about. I think he just liked to say his nickname, but Donnie Anderson, the Golden Palomino. I mean, I heard my dad talk about this guy just over and over again. Like I said, my dad's a bit of a talker like I am, and I think he just enjoyed saying his nickname, but he also enjoyed his game. And I think just looking at his statistics and not obviously having seen him play during his era was just how versatile he was. I mean, yeah, he was a running back, but what a great receiver too. I mean, his receiving numbers are off the charts. I mean, he really was like the all-purpose back before that was a term. And I believe he was a pretty good return man as well.
He was a good punter in the NFL too for the Packers. He was a punter and a big dude. I mean, this we're talking about the mid 60s. I think he was about 6'3", 215 as a running back back then. That's Eric Dickerson's size back in the mid 60s. So you can imagine what these little guys on defense would feel like having to come up and mess with that. The Golden Palomino. You get trucked by the Palomino. Yeah, he was something special.
All right, who's your next guy on the list?
Next guy is about the same period. No, actually a little bit later, but a guy named Bam Morris.
Oh, he was one of mine too.
Oh, really? I can go with somebody else.
Bam was way later. So Bam was in the 90s.
Yeah,
so.
Right. He was early 90s. Yeah, Bam. The thing about him is, you remember Jerome Bettis, the bus?
Oh yeah.
Bam Morris was the bus, except he was kind of a bust because he didn't have his act together from the neck up, shall we say, and we know about his legal problems and whatnot and so forth.
Great running back though, All-American.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, just one of the 3 most talented backs I've ever seen at Texas Tech. I always called him the dancing bear because I mean, he was like 6'1", 235, but just floated around and glided and just. In some ways, I mean, he would run over you now, but he had sort of a running style of somebody much smaller, and was just kind of a really fun player to watch. And yeah, he was, and he's actually still around. Sometimes you'll see him at basketball games and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and with Bam, he actually had a couple of good years with Pittsburgh. I mean, he did where he made some noise before. Like you said, I think some of his troubles caught up to him. My next one also comes from the 90s. Actually, I can mention a lot of guys from the 90s that I really like, but you got to go with Zach Thomas, right? I mean, some of the amazing plays he made for the Red Raiders. I think some people were probably saying, where's Gabe Rivera in this? Because I know he's the favorite of many, so I want to throw his name out there. But Zach Thomas is a guy I remember as a kid watching on ESPN. I remember him racking up like 25 tackles against #1 Nebraska, This was before I had nobody tell me, hey, watch Texas Tech. This is, I thought Texas Tech was cool, and I thought Zach Thomas and guys like Bam Morris were guys that made it so for me. Who were these crazy Red Raiders out in West Texas, with awesome uniforms and just, like you said, running over people, whether it be on offense or defense. And that's definitely what even Zach Thomas in his diminutive stature would do, would just physically dominate guys. And then the mental aspect, one of my favorite parts of this job is getting to interview some of the old greats like Jason Sasser, another All-American Red Raider we had on our radio show. Great guy. He's had a great career as a coach, high school coach right now, I believe at Red Oak, one of the top teams in the state. But Zach Thomas we had on before he was inducted into the Hall of Honor or the Ring of Honor before an Oklahoma game a couple years ago, and really got to talk about his process, get to ask him about how he got prepared to play. And it was very detailed. Like, he had a set process of what he ate, how much he slept, the way he approached the game. So he didn't just show up to the game and just was just tougher to everybody. Yeah, he was a tough SOB, but a lot of preparation went into his success, which also correlated to the NFL, of course, which he had a great career with the Dolphins. So Zach Thomas has got on any All-American list. Zach Thomas has got to be on there for me, Mighty Joe. Anybody else you have?
Oh, I could throw out another guy there, Lloyd Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, he played about the same time as Bam, and I tell you, from Odessa Permian, state championship team. Yep, that's right. And receiver at Texas Tech. But I tell you, I saw him play high school ball a little bit as a safety, and he may have been a better safety than a receiver. You talk about some guy who could cover some ground back there, and then lay the wood. I was kind of disappointed he wasn't playing safety at Texas Tech, but as a receiver, I never saw a receiver with better hands than Lloyd Hill.
Wow,
and
that's saying something.
Yeah, because there have been so many excellent receivers with great hands. Lloyd Hill, anything in the zip code, he was going to get it. And if he hadn't torn up his knee real bad, he would have had a nice long NFL career. But he was something special.
I mean, we can go on and on. Texas Tech has actually had its fair share of All-Americans, especially in football. I want to give basketball some more love. We already mentioned Sasser. How about Jarret Culver? I know it's just last year, but Lubbock guy, obviously going in the NBA now to Minnesota. Got the Adidas endorsement deal. I mean, things are going well for All-American Jarret Culver from Lubbock, Texas. Lubbock Coronado, Big 12 Player of the Year, took the Red Raiders to greater heights than the basketball program has ever seen. Led them in scoring, rebounding, assists. I mean, Mr. Do-It-All, Jarret Culver, and what a great family the Culvers are. I had a chance to meet several of them. Really got some quality time talking to Papa Culver, Mama Culver, and my favorite, Grandma Culver, who doesn't mince words. Let me tell you, it was very funny when he signed his letter of intent with Tech, which seems like forever ago, but was just, 3 years ago. So congratulations to Jarret Culver and all the Red Raider All-Americans out there. And once again, happy 4th of July to all you out there, all the Texas Tech fans and our subscribers. Thank you very much for watching. Mighty Joe, great stuff from you as always. And until next time.